I'm Lola.
And I'm Mamuna. Together, we have a combined 35 years of experience within the tech scene in North America and Europe.
We talk about the highs, the lows, the WTFs of navigating the technology industry and answer your questions about navigating tech careers.
This is Lost in Tech.
This is juicy, I think. There's a lot in this, but okay, I'm gonna read this incredible post that I came across on Reddit. Yes, we love Reddit. Work advice, and I think there are layers here. So let me see if I can read it without messing up. Okay, it's called "I keep getting asked to bail out my old department, and it's soul crushing." It's a venting post. Almost 2 years ago, I put in for a promotion to lead my old department, and my coworker got the promotion over me. I'll admit it stung real bad as I had more experience and was liked much more across all other departments than my coworker, but I suppose that's just how it goes sometimes. Almost immediately, I could tell she could not handle the role and was struggling big time. I thought it might be growing pains from the new position, but after a few months, I knew things wouldn't get better, so I left. I transferred to a different department, same employer, to lead a team that had been supervisor-less for about 8 months. And while it was a lateral move, no raise, there is much more potential to move up. I'm doing great. I've completely turned this team around, and my new supervisor loves me. Morale is great. Since leaving, my coworker has completely run my old department into the ground. They are about 6 weeks behind on their deliverables and are a constant roadblock to all the other departments. It's very obvious that the wrong person was selected to run the department, and I was what made that department run so well. Now on to the venting advice. I've been asked to help clear their backlog twice since I left. Once when I first left to help with the transition, which I guess is fine, and a second time a few months later. The first time I helped, I didn't get any extra compensation or recognition. The second time I helped, I got recognized at a meeting, but again, no compensation. During this second time, my old coworker micromanaged the hell out of me, which is wild since I didn't work for her and I was doing her a favor. It was awful. I told leadership that I would not help them anymore without compensation and some ground rules. Well, this week, I was just asked to help them out again for a third time. I told them I'd only do it for extra money and if my old coworker would basically just leave me alone and let me help. They agreed, so let's see. So I'm going to skip a couple of bits to an update, which is update 1. So I may not have to help after all. I spoke with my leadership this week about everything, and it turns out I can't start helping because my old coworker took away my access to the system that I would use to help after the last time. Not sure what she was thinking, besides to be petty, and I can't say I'm mad about it. She would be the one to turn my access on, and the request has been with her since late last week. There's a lot in there. There's a lot in there.
I think the thing that really, when you shared this, the thing that gave me a feeling was I keep getting asked to bail a department out, and it's soul crushing because I feel like most of us have been there in one way or another. Department, individual, whatever it is. You're like, I'm doing what I'm doing. I wasn't recognized for what I'm doing. And now you want me to go back and help you.
Yes.
But you're not acknowledging the hard work I put in.
100%.
Or going to reward me in any way for this additional support I'm giving you.
I also see exactly that. And I read the poster, or the OP as Reddit calls it, the original poster. What I read into their situation was also this. I found myself here a couple of times, and I've also coached other people through it. The curse of the competent. When you are so good at what you're doing that they actually really don't want you to do something different. There isn't this sense that let me grow you or develop you or build a gap behind you because I have no trust that other people will do what you want to do, or I can't be bothered to go through that transition. So what I really want to do is I want to keep you there. And that backfired for them because this individual knew their worth and was like, I'm out. But it's very clear that they had a backbone effect in their team, but it's still a curse because it still means that people look to them to save the team as opposed to the person who's supposed to be leading the team?
I have so many thoughts on this. Where would you like to go? Would you like to pick it apart, or would you like to talk about some of
Real
it?
talk it, Mamuna. Just go with the real talk.
I mean, I'll say petty me.
Petty is how a lot of people would respond to this because
You know,
WTF.
petty me if I weren't if I weren't if I were an IC.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, let me say this. I'm not saying what people should do. I'm not coaching here. I'm just saying like
Just yeah.
reactive me. I'd be pissed, right? Because it's like, hey,
100%.
you're not recognizing me for what I've done.
Nope.
Now, responsible me who realizes that I probably need a job
Yeah, of
and
course.
don't want to, whatever. But I don't always want to keep being pulled into this position. Would have a real talk conversation and say, hey, listen,
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing this pattern. Just like they
Yeah.
teach you to do like in relationships. I forgot what the thing is called, but like it's like you call out the patterns, you call out what you're seeing, right? So it's okay, hey, I'm
Yeah.
noticing this pattern.
Yeah.
This is what I'm seeing. And
Yeah.
this is how I feel about it, right? It's not like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
pissed off about it, but it's like, hey, you know, I did this work. I didn't get the promotion, and that's your choice. But
Mm-hmm.
you're now asking me each time to come in
Mm-hmm.
and right the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So, is this something that you want me to do? If so, put me formally in this position. If it's not something you want me to do, then let the person you pick do it.
I mean, I go one further on your petty, Mamuna. And again, I'm not saying that this is the advice you must follow in this very, very challenging tech worker economy. But here is my notice. And that is the
Mm,
job for extra money that I have got. Because I guarantee
mm,
you. Now, there are definitely times when each of us has been in that moment where we inflate our worth and we're like, everybody else would pay me more and understand my value more than my employer. And that's not always true. But it
correct.
sounds to me that this person they are a good, loyal worker for the company.
Yes.
And what I have found, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing to be, that's me in most scenarios. What I have found, however, is the majority of good, loyal workers often forget to keep seeing what their worth is on the open market. They
Say it
forget to
again for the
have a
people in the
look
back.
around and make sure that their salaries are there. As an old boss used to say, and I've said many times, always be interviewing. That doesn't mean you're trying to leave. It means you're
Right.
understanding the market. And at any given point, you've got yourself in a position where you know where things are. Take one recruiter call every couple of months just to see. This person will not be promoted in that company. And the
No.
tell is actually not the coworker scenario. The tell is that they move to a different team without a promo that is
Mm.
also involving people leadership, that is a challenging team that other people had struggled to manage or had not had a manager for 8 months.
Feel like
And they
typecasted.
thank you. And this is why you have to leave. Doesn't mean it's a bad company, but you have been put in a box in that organization and you are going to constantly be
Mm.
asked to maintain the box. You want to
Yeah.
grow, and they don't see you that way because you look like their box person. And it's actually a kindness to leave the gap. You leave the organization, guess what? They can't pressure you to bail out the team worker. The person they
Yeah.
promoted, who may or may not be rubbish, right now is not being actively managed by anyone because their box person is still in the company and they can throw
Yeah.
you some crumbs. Like, okay, you told us last time you wouldn't help. Okay, here's a little bit of money. Where's the goddamn promo? Where's the
Right.
big money? Where's the elevation?
You know, another path, a parallel path you could take here is if you can't leave a company, right? What you can do is be realistic about the amount of work you're putting into the job, right?
Yep.
So if you're finding that you're going above and beyond,
Mm-hmm.
burning the candle at both ends, I would encourage you to say, okay, what did they hire me for?
Yeah.
And let me do that. I think everyone should do their jobs well, but if your company is not recognizing you in your effort, I think there's an opportunity to one, have a conversation to see if they can and will recognize you for the work that you're putting in, whether that's promo, increase like, whatever that is, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
you yourself have to be realistic about the amount of effort and time you're putting into the job so that you don't have that feeling, right? Because this person feels like the word soul crushing came in there, right? So
No, they are
how do you
being
make,
affected. They are
yes, how
being
do you make
affected.
it so that you're not, your soul is not crushed? And if you have
I
to stay in the job,
I mean, this is going to sound fatalist, but I don't think you can once you're here.
I know.
This is the real talk. And so this is here's the coaching moment.
Uh-huh.
Part of, again, our amazing coaches have told me this many times over the years. You have to see the situation you're in and you have to go through it to get out of it. There is no like, no, it's fine. No, it's
Dance.
fine. No. The reality of this situation is this individual is not going to get promoted in that company ever.
Mm.
And they are being shown that over and over and over again. But they
Yes.
are expected to show up for the company. And I think the risk with doing the whole, okay, let me change my energy in this situation is you might come back and somebody's got a performance review feedback for you that you're underperforming now because you set the performance bar here. And since you step back, now they've got a reason to fire you for cause.
You're right. Yeah.
This situation, it is like a romantic relationship. See the pattern. The pattern is at some point, your goals for your career development and how this company saw you got misaligned. Yeah. Boo-hoo, more fool you. But now, this is the real talk, right? This is almost like take a moment, grieve the situation, absorb those facts, and then be like, let me leave in a healthy way. Let me find my way out. And the active pursuit of another job is exactly the kind of energy transfer you need to not spend all of your time psychologically stewing and being burdened by the situation you're in, knowing you are going to work your way out, soul crushed. You know, it's interesting. But
I mean, I think that you said it right. I think the only thing I'd say in there is that there's probably a good amount of like if you're trying to leave on top while things are good, I think it is easier to speak positively about your experiences to the new as you're interviewing versus approaching it in this like, I'm burned out. I hate this job. I'm going to take anything I can.
100%.
I don't like, I hate them. They didn't do me right. Like you're in this like sort of angry space as you're interviewing versus potentially saying, okay, like I've made my peace. I've had the conversation. I understand
100%.
There's no role for me here or whatever it is. I'm going to move on and I'm going to do so in a peaceful way. And I think that's like a healthy space to move on.
Interviewing while burnt out and jaded. I don't know a single person who successfully pulled the wool over the interviewer's eyes on that. You can smell it coming. You can smell it, see it, feel it, hear it. You're acting to the camera, but we can feel it because we're going to ask about your experience. And there's always these physical tells, these like language tells that something about that experience isn't quite landing. Oh, dude. Every single time. Okay, I have more controversial question for you there, Mamuna. Because when I was reading it, I started applying demographic lenses.
Okay.
So we know that the coworker who got the job is a woman. So I was like, is the OP a man, a woman? And what potential race elements may exist between these folks? And I had some thoughts. So I was kind of like, I believe if both of the people are women, so both the coworker and OP, and they are both white, I am fairly certain there would still exist some kind of physical or demographic difference between the coworker that got the job and OP, i.e. an accent. Maybe one is seen as more attractive. Maybe one is, located in an area where there might be, some obvious tropes about the people who come from that place. Like it reads like a person with a particular look got promoted, but without the capability to match, or a connection, or a bit of nepotism. And the other person wasn't fortunate enough to have the hookups or the right face, metaphorically, for the job, even though they were clearly the more competent one. That was my, if they are both women. I don't know how likely that is. If the OP is a man, then unfortunately I thought, well, it could also be that it's likely that most of the leaders in that company are men. And the promotion of the coworker was an attempt to fix that without doing the bare minimum, which is at least make sure that everyone is competent first. Like a token who is incompetent is worse than no one, right? It's absolutely worse. So yeah, I kind of read those social elements, social demographic elements in there. We don't know. We don't know.
It feels to me like this is a connection. There's a connection in how this person got the job. Because if they were doing the job well, and this other person got but there's always two sides to a story.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know what was not said in this. But if you were just purely going off of...
Oh, we're speculating now. We're there.
Yeah. It feels like there was likely a connection. But there's so many things that go into workplace dynamics that can drive a person mad.
There was one more theory I had. Which is that the boss of the coworker who got promoted doesn't want to ever leave the job, and was actually highly intimidated by the competence of OP, and would prefer to have someone who had a low chance of coming for their job rather than somebody that they could essentially be a patsy and manage and stuff. And these are all things that I have seen and observed in real workplaces. I'm completely inferring them as like the maybe that's going on in the background of this scenario. But the reason they're easy to come to is because I've seen it.
They happen.
People do this.
They happen. They do this, and sometimes they do it without even realizing they're doing it.
Yeah. Which is a damn shame.
It's a damn shame. Anyway.
Good luck,
this is a good one. I'm curious with any other updates. Was there any other updates?
This is the final update. The final update is that they got locked out of the system.
Yeah, I mean, what TLDR there is, hopefully they see this as their sign to leave.
I think they should be responding to some of those recruiter outreaches.
Yeah. Hopefully they're getting them. If they're not, they should start networking.
They should start networking. Make it happen. Start their own company. You go, OP. Go make your life happen.
Start your own company doing tools that support global employees. Be productive.
Distributed time zone tools for employees designed to maintain and restore the health and well-being of the individual whilst facilitating collaboration and management with their coworkers.
You sound like you're like GPTing up in here. Like you spent some time in this.
I don't know. Like I can, one day when I'm bored, I'll maybe invent something, but otherwise I'm willing to pay other people for it. So it's all good.
$500, y'all.
We've made this show for you, and we want to hear your stories. We have our combined 35 years experience in tech. We have an incredible bank of experts to call on. We are your safe space. So send us your tech challenges and we'll help you create some draft decisions through some real talk.
You've been listening to me, Mamuna Oladipo.
And me, Oyelayo-Pearson.
Edited and produced by me, Michael Bussa, with theme music by 031 Mash.
Email us at help@lostintechpodcast.com or DM us at lostintechpod.